Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. I am filming on my cell phone right now because I think I lost my GoPro. I can't seem to find it anywhere. I've been looking all night. But anyways, one of those nights, I guess, we're working on a Honda motor, and I figured I would show you guys an update on the motor that I'm building for my purple car that is sitting right there. So this EG Coupe is going to be my Honda race car. That's what I plan on doing with the car. And yeah, we're building an LS VTEC for it. And you guys saw in one of the last videos that I actually had an issue with getting the circlips and stuff installed. It was kind of a pain in the ass getting those circlips in and out. And I showed you guys kind of how to do it and whatnot. But I have another issue at hand. We actually assembled this thing tonight. I just kind of threw the bottom end together. Was gonna film it, didn't know where my camera was, so sorry. And these are a Civic Type R piston, so like a B16B, I think that's what they are. They're the Nippon high compression pistons. They're supposed to be like 12-to-1 or something like that. And I put those on my GSR connecting rods in my GSR crankshaft in an LS block. This is the outcome. So if we spin this thing over, hang on, I gotta set the phone down so I can do this with two hands. Hang on, y'all can watch me struggle here, uncut. All right, almost there. There we go. All right, so hopefully you guys can see. Let's see here. This way? I'm messed up right now with my phone. There we go, we'll just go this way. So currently, the pistons are above the deck surface quite a bit. So I actually just took some feeler gauges and I was just kind of getting a rough guess of how much they were sticking out of the deck, because it doesn't appear to be a whole lot, but when you take into consideration a feeler gauge and actually measure, we're right around 50 thousandths to 60 thousandths of piston that is sticking above the bore, or above the block, above the deck surface. So that's an issue, and I think there's a couple reasons why this is. I think GSR stuff in an LS block naturally sits a little bit higher, and then on top of that, I had the block machined down to a nub. Like, this thing was decked pretty aggressively. I put the Chris Boyette block filler in this thing and then told the machinist to just deck it flat. And it must have taken quite a bit to deck it flat because there's nothing left. So like, this is the indentation on the block here. Hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, I can barely catch my fingernail on it. So there's nothing left to machine on this block. Kind of sucks, but is what it is. And yeah, can't run it like this because the pistons are sticking too far above the deck. I tried putting my cylinder head on just to see kind of how much space there was to, you know, maybe if I could get a thicker head gasket or something like that and try to accommodate the space, and it won't work. Like, it won't work. So I tried putting the head on. Like I said, I got my cylinder head back. This thing is minty fresh. New valves, Ferrera valve springs and retainers that I got from Brandon Bass. He hooked me up with a bunch of stuff, so got those. I got some blocks, LMAs for the head as well, so I'm gonna be throwing those in. Yeah, so got some parts coming. I got a clutch coming. I got a sponsorship coming, so that is like amazing. Really awesome stuff, but like I said, can't run this setup like this, which really sucks because had the crank matched to the rods, had the crank polished, measured, chamfered, everything, and here we are. Can't run the rods. So I was talking with Brent from PFI Speed. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, be sure to go check it out. And I think I just need to get a different set of connecting rods because the GSR rod is the longest rod out of all the B series. LS is in the middle and B16 is the shortest. So I was thinking get a B16 rod, but I think Brent was saying that the B16 might actually be too short. So I might go with a LS rod, but then again, at the end of the day, an LS rod won't work with my crank or my bearings that I have. And I don't have LS rods. So I have to find LS rods, hope it's going to fit, and hope it's going to give me the right height. I could measure some of this stuff, and I might actually just check online for a just the length checker between rods and just kind of compare the size between this connecting rod and the other connecting rod, like an LS versus GSR length, and see if that can help me out. Yeah, just kind of brainstorming, thinking of what I can do to make this combo work, because I really want to run these pistons and I really want to run this crankshaft because I know this crank is really good condition, clean, everything's there. I guess I would just have to get a set of B16 or LS connecting rods and shave the big end, shave it narrower. So I'll show you here. I got some other GSR rods sitting here. So this end of the rod would need to be narrowed. So from here to here, you know, there would have to get shaved down to fit into the crank. So I'd have to do that, get the rods machined. Hopefully it works. Yeah, and then we're still here in the same situation. I want to run this block, obviously, because the block is already set up with the block filler in it. It's already decked. I've already spent money machining this block and getting it set up. So I want to keep this block, and like I said, I want to keep that crank, but worst case scenario, I probably could switch to an LS crank, LS rods, and be okay. I don't know. Normally, I just run like GSR crank, GSR rods in a GSR block. Don't ever have problems, LS to LS to LS. B20 to B20 to B20, etc., etc. And I don't usually have issues, but this is the first time I think I've tried GSR stuff in an LS block. Usually people do LS stuff in a GSR block. That's usually the way that all that happens. Yeah. So I guess I'm the odd one here, and I always have the problems that are like totally out there and are not common. So we're gonna try to make this work. Of course, it wouldn't be a hunter-tuned build if something like this didn't happen. Hopefully we'll be kicking ourselves now, and then once it's in the car, everything will work, and we won't have any other problems other than the mold that's growing inside the car. So I have to get this thing moving soon so I can clean out the damn interior, because there's like mold growing on the steering wheel and shit. And yeah, it smells like a French whorehouse inside that car. I don't know what they were doing before I got it. Other news, I bought a truck yesterday. It's sitting outside. There it is. It's a red Chevy. That's the most you'll ever see it because it's probably getting sold tomorrow. I didn't even want to buy it, but the guy was junking it, going to the junkyard with that truck, and it needed a distributor. So I put a distributor on it, slammed a distributor in it, timed it, put a starter in because it needed a starter, and fired it up, drove it out to my shop, put a bunch of miles on it. Seems good, so I threw it up back for sale, try to make a couple bucks selling that thing. And then the Civic here, took the ECU out of it and tuned a car with that today. And yeah, so I'm out of an ECU for this, so it really can't move. And then CRV, my CRV is chilling. That thing's doing good. The Cutlass over there is doing good. Can't wait to work on this thing. I'm super excited to work on it. Big block. I think we're going to spray it. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but I think a big block is a lot of fun. Mustang, I have to measure my shock lengths. So you guys know that this car hops out of the hole, like hits a tire, fucking springs back. And I think the problem is the shock length is too short, or the mounting position is too high. So when the car leaves, it fully extends the shock. And when it fully extends the shock, it's pushing on the body instead of having the travel in the suspension. It's pushing on the car itself. So I think changing the shock location or changing the shock length will help tremendously with the hopping that the car is having right now. Because like I said, I changed the shocks. It wouldn't even do anything because I think the shock was literally just limiting out. So I think these Vikings actually have an adjustment on them so you can actually change the length of the shock. And I would need to make them longer So when the car got compressed, it would push down on the shock more. And a general hot rod rule of thumb is when you have the shock in the car, you want an inch of travel left. So you have an inch left of downward travel in the shock. You want as much upward travel in the shock as possible, because when you hit the car on the starting line, the back end wants to separate from the tire. So you want as much upward travel in the shock as you can possibly get. You don't need as much going down because the car shouldn't be squatting. You don't want it to squat. That's what I've learned. That's what we're gonna try. I don't know when we're gonna get to the track next. The track is closed by me for a couple weeks. They have a big event next weekend that's not racing, and then the weekend after that I think they're taking off, and this weekend they took off. And then we only have 1 or 2 more track days left. So I'm really hoping that we can get the Mustang out, click off a fucking 890, maybe, we'll see. But other than that, the car runs phenomenal. Everything's good with it, obviously. Just out here kicking ass. So yeah, change the shocks on the Mustang, change the shock length or mounting position on the shock. And that will be it for this car for this year. That's probably all I'm going to do with it. And I'm gonna park it running, fingers crossed. I don't wanna blow it up. But if I blow it up, whatever, it's part of the game. So, purple car, another big thing that I really wanna get done for this year is get the purple car to the track, because I haven't raced a fucking fast Honda at all this year. So, we had the red hatch last year, but the fucking purple car should be twice what that car was. I'm really hoping, because I have a twin disc on the way, and we're just gonna try to push the shit out of a cast piston and see if we can do it. Push the shit out of the stock transmission and see how far it goes. Lots of stuff and things. Felpro head gasket, or oil pan gasket, came in the mail today. OS 30630, OS 30630T is the part number for the reinforced oil pan gasket, if anybody wants one of those, because they are awesome, and you can tighten the shit out of the oil pan bolts and it doesn't push out, works good, doesn't leak. Got LMAs, I told you guys that. I don't know what else. I've been fucking busy as shit. I've been trying to do videos and stuff, but if I don't have my fucking GoPro, that's another thing that sucks. And then yeah, tuned a car today. It was a mini-me, so that was kind of fun. It was for one of my buddies. Kind of worked out a deal. I got a Honda out of it, so I have a Honda for the purple car now. I was missing an S300 because I had sold the S300 with the deli when I sold the deli. Yeah, so I don't know. I could go for a fucking spotted cow right about meow. So we'll see where that goes. Blocks, LMAs, those things seem pretty neat. They're a lot narrower. I don't know if you have to take the LMA. So the LMA that comes with like the blocks or Skunk 2 kits, I think you have to actually take your stock LMA and you have to take the inside out of the LMA and then put that in there instead. I think that's how that works, because if you just try to put the spring of the LMA in the cylinder head, it doesn't fit. It's like super loose. So I think you have to put it inside the stock like housing. Got a brand new OEM Honda head gasket. I was gonna go JE Pro Seal, but I went OEM. Same thing. OEM works really good. JE Pro Seal works really good. Yeah, Felpro doesn't work that good for a head gasket. I'm babbling. I'm really fucking babbling here. But I don't care. I'm gonna keep it rolling because I'm trying to think of something to tell you guys, and I don't edit fucking cell phone videos. I just throw them up, because why not? I'm doing ECUs right now. I just did 2 over the last 2 days. I did 1 Friday. I did 2 Friday, and I'm trying to get a soldering iron. It's like a super expensive one, but I'm trying to save some money to get it because I've been doing a lot of ECUs lately, and to be honest, I hate doing them because I don't have the proper tools to do like desoldering sockets. So like when you chip a Honda computer, you put, you put the socket, the 28-pin socket. This one has a fucking switch in it for J1, which is funny. But yeah, when you go to remove like say you want to take a chipped ECU and you want to put S300 in it, you have to remove the, you know, socket where the chip would normally go and install pins. Well, when you take out the socket, it's really hard to desolder the holes after you already put a socket in it. So normally what I do is I just have a soldering iron here that was actually sent in. Thank you again. I use this soldering iron and I have a desoldering like plunger, and that's all I've used for the last fucking 10 years. And it works really good if you have like a virgin computer without any components installed. But when you try to remove components or remove like old chips and stuff like that, this little soldering gun that I want to buy is recommended to me from Jason Waters, but it's like it's almost like an air hammer. You like heat up the solder joint and hit a button and it goes brr, and it like pushes the solder out. And it works really good from what I see. So other than that, I just take my desoldering plunger here and I go on one side of the board and heat up the other side and go bong, and it sucks the solder out most of the time. Sometimes you got to hit it twice, sometimes you got to hit it 3 times, sometimes you got to fill the hole back in with solder, hit it again, and then still you don't have enough suction or enough, you know, push force to get the solder out of the joint. So that's really annoying that I've been dealing with the last couple days, but nonetheless, we're just trucking. We're just trucking along, trying to keep up with orders. And of course, when I stockpile normal style injectors, everybody orders flex. And then when I stockpile flex injectors, everybody orders normal style. That's just how it goes. It keeps you on your feet. You know, the universe is just trying to keep me on my feet. This fucking thing, look at this. This fucking mesh in this hood is falling out. Trying to keep this car on its feet. Look at this. That was in there, but now it's not. Yeah, so that soldering gun I really want to save up for. It's like $350, which is fucking pricey as shit for a soldering iron. But man, if it can save me time, because I literally do these and I sweat the whole time. I sweat because I just don't like doing it. It's tedious. You have to have a steady hand, and yeah, it's just Anybody's got flex injectors, hit me up. I need some for the website. So drop it down there in the shit box or email me or some shit. I don't know. I'm blabbing a Blabby McBlabberson today about fucking piston height being too tall, needing different rods. That's all for today, folks. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That's all, folks. Ha ha.